Hey, 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 hey. Soul Dancer the White Dragon here, people. I have to share this. I woke with it. Feeling absolutely fantastic. Notice the papaya tree, my ancestors looking down on me. The shadow changes who you are. It's the last thing I was told before I surfaced. Everyone is scared of their shadow. Why? Simply because you are so accustomed living in fear. It sucks. We are scared of everything. We feel afraid of doing something different. We feel afraid of doing something new. It's awful. I know all about that. The point I want to make here is that you have to dance with chaos. You have to embrace your shadow. You have to do the work on yourself. You have to face those fears. And that means going into the darkness. That is why people are afraid of the dark, you know. That is why children grow up feeling afraid of the dark and the monsters under their beds. And their parents telling them, no, it's nothing, when in fact it's the parents who are to blame. They didn't do it deliberately, most of them, but it is the parents who are at fault. So it's better to put it that way. Because they brought their children up telling them by the time that they were 3, don't do this, don't do that. No, the monster is going to get you. I'm going to take you to wherever it is that you're scared of. Do you want me to leave you alone? A lot of times in teasing tones, a lot of time when they're frustrated, they're angry, they're dealing with a lot of adult stuff. You know, money issues. Maybe even how they're going to get the next meal, how they're going to feed their child. No, I can't buy the toy for that child. Hi, gal. Yes, girl. And this is the purpose of my group, the Women's Room. We have to dance with chaos. There is no other choice. Listen, I don't want to do this, you know. This type of work was never on my radar. Not at all. I just want to live. I just want to be happy. I just want to be comfortable. I just want to have a fantastic man in my life. Someone that I can depend on. Someone who is strong. Someone who keeps their word. Someone who respects me and loves me and puts me first. That's all I want. This type of work, I did it part-time. I discovered, in fact, just to give you a tiny bit of my story, I discovered when someone asked me, what do you do? And I realized, yes, I work in the transformation space. I have been in this business for 4 years. It felt like a lifetime, but actively for 2 years making money. And then I realized why it felt like a lifetime. It's because I have been doing it for 30 plus years. In fact, it's probably longer, but consciously for 30 years. And it's my mother who brought it to my attention. As a child under 5, I used to be telling adults what to do. My mother told me that she would ask me questions and I would tell her, and she would go do it exactly what I said. That's been my life. My 62nd birthday was the 5th of January gone. I have been fighting shadow for most of my life. And it has been awful, it has been painful, it has been detrimental. And the more I fought is the more I lost. I had nothing. I still consider that I have nothing. I'm talking about material things. Everything was taken away from me. Do you know what it's like to spend $1 million in 1 year? I can tell you about that. And I could not stop myself. I lost everything that I thought was important. That's how I ended up here. Here meaning in this space right now. And you know something? That is no longer important to me. Yes, I want to live in a beautiful home. I have my dream about that. I want a family of my own. And family meaning people who support me. People who are not interested in doing something for me and they want something in return as payment to show or prove that I love them or that they love me or some shit like that. That's not a family, but that is the type of birth family that I have, and that doesn't interest me. Beautiful souls, I cannot emphasize enough in ending. You have to dance with chaos. Those parts of yourself that you do not like, that you reject, the parts that you don't know, the parts that you don't want to know. It means you're living a fake life. It means that you are not authentic. And that makes for unhappiness all the way through. That is why we women wake at times at 2 and 3 in the morning full of anxiety or fear, and we don't know what it is. We refuse to pay attention to our dreams and the signs and symbols that infinite intelligence is sending us. We have those nightmares of things chasing us, and we don't dare turn around, stop and turn and face it. That is the subconscious that is bringing the things that we need to face into our lives, into our faces. And we still want to run away. We are full of anxiety. I wonder what they think about me. You know, you go and you ask other people's opinions. Who gives a fuck? Other people's opinions are irrelevant to you and your life. You have to be able to stand up and say, hey, I'm good. I'm really fine. I'm perfect as I am. And that's the next thing. This word perfect. We, each and every one of us, are perfectly imperfect. Now, I am not religious. The Bible, however, says this. We are the image of God. If God is perfect, whatever image that you have of God, why aren't we perfect? That is a religious teaching that I totally reject. Well, I reject religion as well because it's dogma. And nobody's going to tell me what to think, how to think, when to think, how to dress, where to go, how to live. No. Ladies, all of those fears, you need to turn and face them. You need to follow the fear straight down into you, sit with it, and ask it what it wants to tell you. That's it. All of those things are part of the shadow. I spent days one time working with my shadow. One shadow. It was horrific because I was such an evil person. I became such an evil person, a mage of such tremendous power that even being in my company transformed people into the worst part of themselves. That is what the shadow does when you allow it free rein. That's the dark side. And how did I get there? I got there because of my curiosity. I'm a cat. See my name? Catherine. So out of curiosity, I wanted to know. I started reading all of those bad books. And let me tell you something. There really and truly are bad books out there. But the bad books are basically opening you up to the other side. The other dimensions. They do exist. And what is bad about it? The words actually do have power. The power are embedded, imprinted, impregnated into the pages themselves. The words change because the words are actually images that change and transform as you read them. And the more you read them, that's where I ended up. And my lover, my soulmate at the time, who was also a mage, insisted on staying with me. He transformed into a monster. I didn't see it. He didn't see it, because we were both in that dark space. We wholly and solely embraced the shadow because I thought in my arrogance I could turn back any time. I didn't do it deliberately, but I could not turn back because I got so caught in it. It's not like Darth Vader, you know, who deliberately embraced it out of hate. No. And this is the point I'm making. It is so easy to go down the path where you don't want to go. But it's so easy because that way you have no cares. You can say to hell with them, or whatever word you want to use, and just go your way. But the shadow is just waiting there to expand. However, when you embrace it, when you face it as I had to do, that man was full of pus. He was stinking, he was rotting, and he actually appeared to try to bring me back to where I was many, many lifetimes ago. I've been here a long time, you know. I've been around a very, very long time. I refused. I decided to embrace him. When I tell you it was horrorful, I exaggerate not. If I could find other words to describe it, I would. But when I decided to embrace him, to take him into myself, into me, and love him, and embrace him, and forgive myself, and forgive him, because neither of us deliberately started on that path. When I did, it took hours and hours. He began to change and let go. He was physically deformed because of that darkness. But when I released him and I let go, the deformity remained, but he was cleansed. My hand is suddenly shaking. He was thoroughly cleansed, and he was very, very happy to go home, healed, transformed, not physically, but internally. This is what the woman's room will do for you. The dragon processes are there. Dragon is there to support everyone as long as you are willing to do the shadow work. Everyone is there to support you. It's not a pity party place. I thoroughly reject that, and I would kick out anyone who thinks that. However, that will not be necessary, because once you are not aligned with the energy, you will leave of your own accord. Ladies, the shadow changes you. That means you have to embrace your fears. The challenges that you are experiencing right now is linked to the shadow side of you that you refuse to accept. When you accept all of you, you are beautiful, you know. You are authentic. You will then begin to attract the people in your life. I was going to say people and places. That's interesting. The people and places in your life that match your vibration. That is such a joyful place to be. I just had to come on and say that. Now I'm going to shampoo the dog. So, ciao, gal, these things, Jew. Take care. Bye.